Yeah, there's a lot to be proud of this season for these guys for sure. In that match, when we're in it, feels like the most important thing in the world, and it should. I'm really proud of the body of work that we put in this year to put ourselves in a position to be playing at this point in the season. And I don't know, you do this enough years, you just kind of see the longer stories at play. We can talk volleyball specific stuff if we want, but there were so many alumni here tonight, and I'm watching these guys that have, become fathers and husbands, and some of them gone on to play pro volleyball, and most of those guys did not win national championships, and they're just crushing it in life like right now. That is kind of a David and Goliath matchup, and we all knew it going in, and I think that's why it was so fun to get behind the belief of going up against a team like Hawaii, and we were facing those kind of teams all year, but it was going to be a narrow path. I think we missed just a couple moments that could have been the difference, and ultimately we got out-muscled by an incredibly physical and talented and experienced team.
Hi, Haley Sawyer, OC Register. David, you mentioned the alumni just now. I'm wondering if there was anybody in particular today that their presence was especially meaningful or maybe touched you in some way?
Just people in the crowd? I mean,
or just alumni?
Yeah, no, I mean, just so many people have known. It would be impossible to give you like a list, but I did write one out. No, it's just been so cool. I mean, there's so many fingerprints on this season, and had we lifted the piece of wood at the end of the year, I would have said the same thing. There's so many fingerprints on a trophy like that. Like, you don't win it in a season. Like, we don't win it in this campaign. You win it because of all the unseen work of, the administration that puts us in a position to even be able to compete, the funding that we do have. We talk a lot about what we don't have, but it's like when you focus on what we do have, like those things are gifts that we even get a chance to do that. And the alumni that come before, like you don't get a 2026 season like this unless you have a 2025 season. You don't get the 2025 season without the 2024 season. And you go back to the genesis of all of this, like it's all a gift, and it's all stuff that was outside our control to begin with. And so this is like, it's a tough moment in time because we're coming off a loss, but it's also just like a super exciting moment in time when I look at everything that's been amassed through UC Irvine men's volleyball over the years. Like it's pretty darn cool. And these guys should be proud of that. And I know they wanted to win, and it's fun to take home a piece of wood that collects dust in the office. Like, that's fun. Yeah.
Coach Joe Conte from the LA Times. You've been in this position before. When I say in this position, I mean the national championship as an assistant. Obviously, you won it both times as an assistant. Now you're here. Unfortunately, you lost. But how do you, as far as remember this run that you guys just went on? Because obviously, it's a memorable run. How will you remember it?
I hope I remember it as just a gift of time that I got to spend with these guys. And I don't know. I mean, for me, like the championship seasons are no more valuable or special to me than the seasons where I think back on 2016 might have been one of our worst seasons in program history. We had a losing record, and I think about the growth of the guys that were on that team and where they are now and what they're doing. And that season does not outweigh or come up short of a season like this. I think they're just it's an odd profession because it's bookended. We start the season in September, we end it in May, and then we kind of do it again. It's like every one of these is a tile in a big UC Irvine mosaic or a chapter in a really epic story. And I think this is just its proper place in a longer history that we get to be a part of for a minute.
Josh Nakoba from Bidstead Volleyball. So you talk about how programs are built year by year. What kind of precedents does this team set moving into next year? Like, what does it set for next year?
I have no expectations of next year's team based on this year's team. I think this is such a different team than I've ever coached. And, we'll get back, and it's amazing. It's, as a parent, I think, like, you add one kid to your family, and everything changes. It's exponentially different. We lose 3 guys from our program this year, or whatever, and it's we lose one, and everything changes. And so and there's so many uncontrollables that are just, we can't control what the industry is doing. We can't control the talent that other teams are recruiting. We can't control the budgets, of our people that we're ultimately in these contests with. The places I'd like to see us grow are just within the kind of the values and the agreements that we make as we go into a campaign. When guys sign up to be a part of this program, they're surrendering to a type of leadership that, maybe is hard or different, but I'd just like to see them continue to make those agreements and honor the agreements they make, which I think I've said it before, but we're trying to cultivate champions to win championships. And that doesn't always mean on the court, but cultivation is a process, and I know it's an agrarian term that gets lost a little bit with this time, but good seeds are good seeds. And to think this is the end of the story for a guy like Will Darcy would be so immature to state that. Like, there's good seeds that have been planted in this guy's heart and mind. I don't know when that super bloom is coming, but it's been fun to see some of the first fruits of it already in his time with our program. So I just hope we keep getting guys that are receptive to that. That's maybe my only expectation, is that guys come in ready to be receptive.
Thanks. Shane, Will, Cam, Nick.
Is that the guy from Instagram?
I'm sorry, Matt Milan from Matt Milan on Instagram. Congratulations, first of all, on the amazing season. I had a question for you, but also then directed over to you guys to answer as well. You talked a ton about family. Obviously, knowing you're human being a dad, being a husband, these seasons are grueling as a college coach, and it is not an easy task to be able to balance that. And I think it's one of the traits that we've seen of you, of all the coaches across the board, that you really have nailed that. When you think about who you are as a parent and a husband, and how you approach this from a coaching perspective, look at a season like this, how does that family dynamic weave into the team? I'd love to hear it from you, and I'd also love to hear from maybe the player perspective of seeing your kids around the gym, seeing your wife.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys know it well, growing up in the gym, and it's just such a special moment in family. We spent so much time doing this coaching thing, and I'm so grateful that our family, with Deb and all the kids, blend into this experience. I think it's great for the guys. Sayla's out there, and she's like, well, they tried hard, and the confetti was still fun. It's like, yeah, you're not wrong. That's cool. And she's going to go give them hugs, and she's going to want to watch the match tomorrow morning as I'm looking at it over coffee when we get home. And she's going to give these guys the same hugs. Sam's going to be running around hoping to play catch with Cam in the front yard in the cul-de-sac as soon as he's ready for it. Sophie's going to be demanding monster blocks all through the summer, wondering why we're not in a gym again. But it's special for the kids, especially for these guys too. I mean, I think there's something about the love of a child and just kind of their not really knowing or understanding how hard this is or the magnitude of effort they put into it. Like, they should be sad right now. I'm sad. It's a lot of work. But also, like, once that moment's over, like, I think that's the coolest part about it, just with the kids.
Jordan Ponte, LA Times.
Oh, we gotta hear their answers to this. Matt asked a question that was directed to these three too.
This is for the players.
No, hang on. They got to finish Matt's question. Cam, you go first.
I grew up as a kid in the gym too, so it's just a good reminder that we're playing for more than just the trophy at the end of the year. We're also playing for, everybody who supports us. So the fans who are out there, it's just a good reminder, especially when the kids come around, to just know that it's more than just volleyball.
Well, first and foremost, full credit to the boys. I think for us, it's more than volleyball. We are brothers, and that extends into the wider community through NIF's family and then also the alumni. And it's just this incredible, beautiful community that touches literally every corner of the world. And we unite under what is Irvine. And so it's a fantastic thing. And the product on the court is its own thing and the results are its own thing, but the family, like, nothing can take that away. And so that's something I hold very close to my heart.
Yeah, I think our team's a family, and I'd rather lose with you guys than win in like every game with everyone else. So.
There's a question for the players. Obviously, it hasn't set in yet for you guys what just occurred, but if you can put it in if you can encapsulate it a little bit, what this means for you guys. Obviously, you talked a lot about you guys are a family. You talked a lot about the togetherness, that the culture you guys are changing at UCI. But in your own words, what does this moment mean for you guys?
Start with Shane and work our way down.
Yeah, it's a big moment. Easy to be sad in this moment because we just lost, but just super proud on our year of work. A lot of ups and downs. A lot of us didn't expect us to be here. Just proud of the boys.
Yeah, I think, like I said before, it was, the results are its own thing, but you learn so much more along the way to get to this point about ourselves individually, but then as a unit, as a collective. And these things last a lot longer than volleyball skills. These are mindset things. These are emotional maturity things, and that helps you being a good, a son, father, or wherever you go in the workplace. And again, that's something that can't be taken away. So to get to this point, it's been incredible, and yeah, I wouldn't change it.
I think for me, it's just this loss isn't going to break us. We're a family. We lost as a family, all 18 of us. And Nif harps on this a lot, but these are still guys who are going to all come to my wedding someday. So they're all going to be family for the rest of my lives, and this loss doesn't define us. It's just a bump in the road in our relationships. So, yeah.
We got one more over here.
Let's do it. We got time. They're still celebrating out there.
Will, this was your final collegiate match. Just what was your mindset heading into this one, and then also after that first set when you took a set from White?
Mindset going into this was no different to any other game we've played this season. I think you don't want to let the big moments get too big. So we were pretty steady going into it, the same process we spoke earlier as we have in the previous games, just playing point to point. We started the game fantastic, but we knew that's an incredible team out there with some very talented individuals. So we knew they were going to bounce back. And really that's all you can ask for is good competition. And so yeah, it was great to have a tough fight, and congratulations to Hawaii. It's a great team, but yeah.
That's why we're here.
How is this game, this matchup in itself, just an example of how the 12-team format in the NCAA tournament works now and how effective it can be?
I appreciate that question. And again, I'll just keep saying it. You play this 12-team bracket over and over again. I don't know how many different iterations there would be, but we do this thing over in a week. It's not going to finish the same. It would keep changing, and I think, again, I don't know. The NCAA isn't necessarily invested in the best team winning. They want to put on a great championship, and I think the volleyball community at large isn't really that concerned about who wins. It's about having a great tournament, and this was a great tournament. You saw 9,400 fans in there for the semifinals. I don't know what the final count will end up being tonight. Looks like it was 8,400 on the box score. But that's a good night for volleyball. And just the ramp up and all of you with the social media work that you're putting into it, it's like, and everybody that comes to a match then gets their phone out, and that's multiplier eyeballs on everything. And it's like, we're in an exponential moment for men's volleyball right now, and in a collegiate setting. That's pretty cool. I think there's a really special product right now. I think people are waking up to how cool men's volleyball is. So there's a lot about this moment that I think is just really healthy for the industry. I think it's really healthy for the institutions that have chosen to invest in men's volleyball. And, my call to action and, just challenge maybe would be that I hope more universities see this. In an era where we're looking at, trying to whittle down our sports offerings to funnel money towards one or two different sports to, chase whatever we're chasing there. These guys are going to grow up and be awesome human beings in large part because of the structure that was provided for them through university athletics. And men's volleyball has an opportunity, I think, to create a great team sport environment. If I'm at an institution, I want to have a robust sports offering, and I think men's volleyball is making a great case for being part of that.